Well, you're not going to believe what happened.
What's that?
I dropped my iPhone in the hot tub last night.
Shut up.
And so between that and my computer shutting down every time I have a remote Zoom action going, I think I'm just appled out, guys.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited that you have a hot tub right now. What's that about?
I do. I'm on the West Coast, everyone.
Christian's on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast. This is Lawrence Lewis.
This is Sister Christian.
Today is September 17th, 2020. Things may have changed by the time you hear this, but this is the Producers Happy Hour, a weekly podcast with two producers, normally on opposite coasts. Obviously, Christian's here in LA. But we're exploring what it means to be a good producer as we navigate our industry coming back to work after a total shutdown while we still navigate the coronavirus.
We find ourselves being asked to take on greater responsibilities from a variety of guidelines created by multiple sources. And I know the AICP just updated theirs. Now more than ever, it's important for us to keep sharing our experiences, our ideas, and really what our set life is like.
Yes, and we need to hear from you. We need to share your stories. If you are willing, how are you working? How are you staying safe? How are you keeping your crew safe? Email us at producershappyhour@gmail.com.
And please rate the show on Apple Podcasts and share the show with your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers, your brother-in-law. Like, everybody needs to hear this show. And the more that you rate us and like us, the more that we get passed around.
Exactly. Make it easier for people like you to find us so we can all be talking about what is involved in film production.
Yeah, because I think our industry is actually doing it well enough.
Yeah, we are. I'm surprised it took AICP this long to update, but
I
I'm
know,
glad they
that's
did.
just crap. Sorry.
I have to come clean because I just wrapped a job. I haven't read the update yet.
Oh, I haven't either, because you know
Okay.
what? Here's the deal. I don't need it. It should have been updated a month into everyone being back to work, or 2 months into everyone being back to work. I mean, if they're telling me stuff that I implemented 2 months ago, then
Right.
What are they going to tell me new?
Yeah, exactly. So today, Christian, we're going to be talking about mental health and how people are navigating, or how you and I are navigating this this little bit of a crazy time in our lives and in the world right now, not only with the coronavirus, but with everything going on with the fires here on the West Coast and the political climate, which gets more and more
Volatile
by the day.
Well, how are you doing? Let's do a check-in. Like, how are you mentally? Because I know you had what I consider a large job last week.
Yeah, it was a large job. It was a 4-day shoot. And during the prep of it, I realized that I had to kind of shut everything out. And that was the only way I was going to be able to sanely work to my highest capacity, like we normally would, right, as producers. I had to shut off the news. I had to be really careful about how much of that I looked at or intook so I could focus on the job. And when you're on a big job like that and you're prepping for 4 weeks, and then by the time you get to day 3 of the shoot, day 3 comes around, and all of a sudden you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? You only have one more day to figure out putting together. All of a sudden, your stress levels start to go down. And
start
you
to
see
smile a little, maybe.
You can smile a little, maybe. You can see the light at the end of the
Say good
tunnel.
morning to VTR guy. Good morning.
Yeah. My day 3, when this started happening, it just allowed me to start intaking the news. And it affected my mood, and it affected my disposition on set. So it wasn't that good to that day 3, because for me, that day 3 was also when ash was raining down on us, and we're filming outdoors, and the air quality is terrible, and so many things that, all of a sudden it's like you're in a coma and you wake up and you're realizing what's happening around you. And that was challenging. It was challenging for me to reconcile the fact that I was selling a product
Right.
in the midst of the West Coast, the biggest fires in West Coast history, the worst air pollution in the history of the West Coast, social uprisings in cities all across America because of social injustice, and this trickling of news that I was starting to pick back up on as to what some of these Trump officials are saying. And it's just mind-boggling. That's it. That's a challenge. And it was a large job. It's complex. It's a lot more work, and it's a lot more layers to consider to keep everyone safe and to abide by the rules and to think about all the various snowballing aspects of how this works. Compounding it with everything that's happening in the world today makes it definitely challenging mentally.
Yeah. And I agree with everything you said. I feel like my challenge is different. However, I feel like I have always done the best I can to care more
Yeah.
about, like, to care about everybody on set, to think about, I know we way back before we discussed, like, even as much as food choices, like as much care as I possibly can put into individualizing the job
Yeah.
for each person experience. I think that what I'm struggling with right now is it's not necessarily the safety part
Mm-mm.
so much as
No.
it's the continual having to explain that this is important,
Mm.
and important from a cost aspect,
Oh,
like having to
right.
defend those things, important from a health aspect, that when you, like, reminding people to put their goddamn masks back on, just and important from my own mental health, of not allow those constant additional job requirements that seems to be lumped on us now
Mm-hmm.
to make me become bitter,
Yeah.
or to come off as mean,
Uh-huh.
because it really does come from a place of care.
Right.
And I'm finding that I'm struggling with it a little bit more, because I think that what we were hoping for coming out of I think what we were really hoping for coming out of what, shutting down, was a bit more understanding.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding is that the resistance to the understanding
Mm-hmm.
is greater than it used to be.
Yeah.
The feeling that we had in June, July, of hope
Yeah.
that a change, a cultural shift was going to happen, and
Mm-hmm.
people were going to be more compassionate, I certainly see that, but I also don't. It's almost like what's happening now politically, that they're polar opposites. It's like the people who were have compassion in them have become more so, and
Mm-hmm.
the people who didn't have it have found a reason to really, like,
Dig in.
grab it and
Yeah.
dig in. So, I mean, that's why I'd love to hear from, more people out there, to find what their experiences have. I mean, in general, are people finding that it's becoming, a standard to have the amount of help that you need, or the prep time that you need, or the support that you need in order to do a job during this time?
Right.
We have a tendency as production people to take on the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to come a point where we have to admit that we can't.
Right.
And it'd be great to hear if people are having issues out there.
Yeah, it would be good to hear. And I think some of the conversations in the film production forums out there are a little mind-boggling. So it does make me think that there's all different levels of
Yeah.
work. Yeah, and I kind of just started looking back at stuff after my job, but yeah, it's pretty interesting, people's approach to what's happening out there. And I was talking to a friend of mine, learning from this job, and I think I said in the last episode was that your COVID compliance officer or assistant, it's great if they're a medical professional, it's great if they're an EMT or something from that world, but it's really like you need a second production manager or even a
Oh,
second
yeah.
producer that handles all those aspects of the job to really, really take that off the plate of the producer who's handling all the crazy director requests, all the crazy agency requests,
Yeah.
and still trying to run the job this whole other part of it, it's like a second PM that understands the compliance rules and regulations and how to do it. But it's a lot. It really is.
Yeah, and the hours that I find myself like still doing things
Yeah.
and the aftermath of, cleaning up. I mean, the wraps take so much longer.
Oh
Like,
boy.
are you still are you guys still wrapping or?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
everybody's only open for 2 or 3 hours. The prop houses are only open for 2. The wardrobe costume houses are only open for a couple hours.
yeah,
Getting invoices, getting
getting
final billing
invoices. People are working from home.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different. So, Christian, I found since today's episode is on mental health and how we're navigating through it, I found this article, massgeneral.org, and it talks about depression on the rise during COVID-19, and it
Wow.
says the U.S. Census Bureau recently reported that a third of Americans show signs of clinical depression and anxiety. These and other mental conditions are
third?
a third.
Holy smokes.
These and other mental conditions are becoming amplified during the recent pandemic, while COVID-19 patients and their families are also at high risk to develop depression and anxiety. And they state a lot of various factors that are related to it that contribute to the increase in depression. And it's, trauma from the disease, obviously. We all experienced that those first few months. Grief over loss of life. A lot of people have been connected to people that have died because of COVID-19. Fear of getting sick, as we know, that fear is very real for a lot of people. Unprecedented physical distancing. We're learning that really has an impact on people's mental health.
Yeah.
Not being around your friends, not being around other humans, not connecting with people. There's obviously financial concerns, unemployment, housing insecurity, food insecurity, loss of community, and reduced access to caregivers. All of these things are contributing to this rise in people suffering from mental health conditions during this time. And it's not surprising. It's not surprising.
It's not surprising, but the number, I mean, you're right. It's not surprising, but it is slightly shocking, I guess, in a way that that's a lot. It's a lot of people. That's like, just think about it. You have two friends.
Yeah.
One of the three of you is clinically depressed right now.
One of the three of you is clinically depressed.
So
that's a lot. So, there's some things you can do. I don't know if people know this, but here in Los Angeles County, the city, Garcetti, has negotiated with the app Mindfulness that it is free to residents here in Los Angeles County until the end of the year. So there's a link you can just I'll try and find it and put it in the show notes, but you can Google it, put LA County Mindfulness app. You can get it free for the year, and that is a great meditation app to help kind of calm your anxiety, center yourself, understand how to kind of manage those feelings. And I think that's really important right now. So people can look into that if you're here in LA County. It's a free resource that I think would be great for people to take part of.
I love it. I think that just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. See what it's all about.
The other thing that I want to say, Christian, I don't know if you have any tips or tricks of how you've been kind of staying sane during this time, but I was talking about this to somebody on set who was verbally talking about struggling mentally right now. And we had a little conversation, and I said, well, I just had at some point, I had to regiment my day. And we talked about this on the show. I deleted the Facebook app off my phone.
Oh.
I installed a timer on Facebook on my browser.
Oh, yeah, that I knew.
So I only have it for 30 minutes a day. And then the other thing I did is instead of listening, I switched from news podcast listening to news podcasts all day long to listening to one kind of big intake of news in the morning, one intake of news at night, and switching to music. And I have a record player at home, so even doing the vinyl record player where you have to get out of your desk to turn it over. that
Right.
adds a physicality to it and a more of a connectedness to music.
Is that helping?
Tremendously. So those are some tips for people. Limit your news intake, structure your day, get up and exercise if you're an exercise person, and limit your time on the social media stuff. How about you? What's helping you?
I don't I don't know that I have an answer.
That's okay. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, because I'm aware of myself and the energy that I'm putting out. It was a very tense video village that happened. It was
Mm.
I had people in person, and I also had
Oh, yeah.
remote.
That's
And
fun.
it was very intense, and we were filming with a celebrity. The After the job was over and we were on our strike day, the grip said, "Hey, just wanted to let, as we were saying goodbye, I wanted to let you know this great job. We all saw the kind of shit you were eating the whole time, and we want you to
Mm.
know that we never felt it. We never felt panic
Oh,
or
that's good.
pressure or any of that shit." And I was like, that's probably the best compliment that I've ever had, because, passing it along is, once a panic starts, if you become panicked, then how are you going to get anything done?
You can't.
Yeah. And so I think that, I think I need an outlet.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. You kind of said that you don't really have any tips on how you're keeping yourself stable, but yet you're managing an intense video village so well that it's not trickling out to the rest of your crew, and so much so that they can see that. What is your outlet? Where do
Yeah.
you where do
Well,
you
I think I cried in
release?
the bathroom a few times. I remember one time calling my good friend Ahmet and venting about a wardrobe issue.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And I think that I try to let it go right away.
Yeah, yeah.
I try, but not always. So I'm feeling very much like I probably need a break soon.
Yeah, you've been on a run.
I have been on a run, but I also, when I even say or think that, there's a bit of guilt there that there are still people who aren't quite up to working.
Yes.
But, the pressure to handle things,
Mm-hmm.
I think we all feel. And this was the other thing that was planted in my mind when I actually said it to a friend. She said, "Oh, well, we don't know how long this is going to last. What if we shut down again because of the flu?" And I'm just like, "Oh, fuck." I think that my advice to people would be, don't listen. Just do what's great for yourself and listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could probably
Absolutely.
buy into the, oh shit, we might, we don't know how long this is going to last, or the, oh shit, just take it all while I can. But I don't know if that works for me.
And I think that's what we had talked about in the beginning stages of this
Mm-hmm.
shutdown, was needing to listen to ourselves about how much can we take,
Yeah.
how much can we do, and slowing it down a
Slowing it
little
down a
bit.
little. And I miss
And
this. I miss
yeah,
I do actually miss what the, the breath that we were able to take,
yeah,
even though it was under like duress
yeah.
and it was scary,
And it was
all of
scary.
that.
Uh-huh.
I miss that we allowed ourselves basically as a society to say, I don't want to answer my phone for 3 days and I want to sleep. Or
And it was okay.
it was okay.
Yeah.
And I miss that already. Like, how did that go
Yeah.
so quick?
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. And here we are,
Yes.
back to work. So, Christian, I hope you get some release of all this soon.
The release will come when I allow it.
There you go.
Yeah, those boundaries, fucking Yehuda.
Those boundaries. All right, guys, that's our episode. We will have interviews with more people just as soon as our schedules open up a little bit.
Yeah.
We got some good guests lined up. They're coming. But first, go to our website, click on the Do the Work tab.
Yes, we have a Do the Work tab, anti-racism resources. This is for you to educate yourself on the issues of racism that have long plagued our society, as well as link to actionable things that you can support in the Black Lives Matter movement. Little update on Breonna Taylor. A settlement was reached by her family. Unprecedented amount of money, $12 million. Louisville is going to pay her family, but please understand that that does not mean that the
No.
fight is over.
No.
Charges have still not been brought in that case, and there's a list of items that they also have to do in conjunction with this, and we have to hold them accountable.
Just keep her in your tweets, keep her in your social media messages, because her murderers are still walking loose, and they need to be charged. there's another petition that I want to feature. I know we featured a couple weeks ago the GoFundMe for Jacob Blake and his family. There's also a petition to charge the cops who shot Jacob Blake.
Yes.
And if you don't know, he was a 29-year-old who was shot in Kenosha, Wisconsin by police officers in the back 7 times in August. Officers were on scene due to a fight which Jacob Blake was trying to break up. He was unarmed, and his kids saw the entire thing.
Yes. Go right now. Sign this petition.
We also have our Take Action page, and I'm going to put a new link on there because last night, Stephen Colbert released his website, betterknowaballot.com. And this is a compilation of all voter information in every state in our country. You just simply click on what state you're in, and it's going to tell you when the deadline is to register, both online or in person. It's going to give you information on how to vote by mail. It's going to give you information on how and where to return your ballot when it's time. And it's chock full of information, and it makes it dead simple. So, betterknowaballot.com.
Yes. And don't forget about Power to the Polls, which we are facing an unprecedented shortage of poll workers. So get out there and volunteer. I mean, civic duty, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, makes you feel good. And then also postcards to swing states. I just got my update about when to ship them out. So very important to follow the directions. But if you feel that you can't give the time that it takes, you could absolutely sponsor and just pay to have somebody else do it. So either way, you're making a difference.
And then, of course, there's all kinds of other action items on that page on our website, the Take Action page. So check it out. There's places where you can help donate. If you need help yourself, Feed the Freelancers is a great organization. Feel free to reach out.
Well, Lawrence, this show is edited and co-produced by Rob Blinke.
Artwork and logo design by Christopher Daniels.
And our music was composed by Kyle Puccia.
That's it for us this week, everybody. We'll be back next week. Like I said, we are going to have some more interviews.
We'll see.
It's going to be great.
They're going to be great.
We'll see. But we're still going to bring you all the information about filmmaking and producing in this new crazy time. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay connected, and stay active.
Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Clean your phone. And please, if you leave the house, wear a mask.
Be sure to send us your voice recordings or your emails to producershappyhour@gmail.com.
Lawrence, how can people get you if they want you?
LawrenceTLewis.com, or for voiceover work, voiceoflawrence.com. How about you?
SisterChristianProduces.com.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.